Hello everyone, I'm Callum at Repair Wins, and in the video today I'm going to be repairing this smartphone. It's a Samsung Galaxy S10, and as you can see, if I put my finger there, it's got a smashed screen. Now a smashed screen doesn't make it completely unusable, but it's got some lines running down it, and clearly it's not long before the whole screen's just going to give up. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to swap the screen. I'm also going to put a new battery into the phone, because despite the fact it's 4 or 5 years old, it still does have a decent bit of value. Only problem being that a genuine Samsung screen is going to cost the same as the phone is worth. So instead we've bought a generic screen from AliExpress. Hasn't cost much money at all, but it means we're going to be able to fix the phone so it can carry on being used. And it's going to be used by none other than me, because sometimes I need a second phone for editing, and I'm currently using this. It's a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. It's in really poor condition, hence why I have it in one of those wraparound cases, and it too has a screen defect. But this one really isn't worth fixing. So I thought, why not repair this one? I mean, it only cost, I say only, it cost £500 just a few years ago. And to say, yeah, that's junk, chuck it in the bin, I don't know, it just feels wrong to me. So that's what we're going to do. So how about I stop talking, we just get started. Just before we start work on the phone, I'm going to put some tape over the screen. The reason why is that it's been smashed. It's smashed quite badly, and it's not unlikely that if I try and prise the screen off that it's going to crack and a bit of glass is going to fling at me. It only takes a moment to put the tape on, and you know, that tape could literally save your eyesight. So don't be stingy with this stuff. I mean, in all fairness, I don't actually need to remove the screen anyway, because you go in via the back on the phones. So you remove the back cover, you take all the parts out and assemble them into a new frame. But I'd rather be safe than sorry. Normally I would use a heat mat for a job like this. It's sort of a purple mat about that big. It heats up to 95 or maybe 100 degrees. You just put the phone down on the mat, leave it there for a minute or two. Then the back is really hot. Use a suction cup, you can lift it up, go around with a pry tool and take the back cover off. I want to show that repair is open and accessible to all, so I'm going to use this hairdryer. I picked it up second hand for £6. So you put the thing on medium, swirl around the back cover of the phone, use a suction cup, pull up on the cup, and then I use business cards. You could use a playing card, something similar. It just needs to be thin and flexible but plastic lined. If it's just pure paper, it's going to tear. So business card, playing card, something along those lines. You'll cut the adhesive and then the back cover will pretty much fall off. You can see I have everything arranged on the desk. I've got a suction cup, a pry tool, another pry tool, and another suction cup. So I'm just going to put the phone face down, and normally I protect the screen, but remember, it's not exactly an A-grade condition, is it? There's a reason why we're replacing it. I'm going to put the hairdryer on medium, or do you know what? I'm going to put it on full power. Right, you have to move fairly quickly here. I'm going to use this really big suction cup from iFixit. Press down, and it's quite hard to actually get a grip on the phone. But you get a grip. Oh my god, that is... What? Has this been done before? No, it hasn't been done before, because this is my sister's phone. She was bought it brand new, and if she ever had an issue, she would have bought it to me. Now, when I said earlier that the back cover pretty much falls off, that wasn't... I've never seen it just come off like this before. That's really, really surprised me. Maybe old phones weren't as water resistant, or maybe this one just wasn't sealed as well from the factory, but normally you do have to get a tool under and do some prying. I'm very, very surprised to see that. I've got to be honest, very surprised. It benefits me though. I'm going to put this out of the way, and then let's carry on with this phone. Let's continue then, shall we? So I was given this really, really rubbish set of tools with the phone. You won't believe how many of these I have. Every time you buy a screen or a charging connector or whatever from China, you get one of these toolkits. Oftentimes I message the seller and say don't bother putting it in, but it always gets put in anyway. So I stopped messaging them. It is handy to get the pry tools and maybe the odd suction cup, but these screwdrivers, you'd have more luck using foil to try and open it. They don't do anything. So don't waste your time with their screwdrivers. Buy a decent screwdriver kit. I'll put a link in the description for you. But what I'm going to do now is just remove the screws from this phone. We'll take all of them out. I'm going to set them off to the side, and then I'll get back to you. Now, one thing that's worth mentioning, by the way, the screws don't always come out. So just because you've unscrewed them, don't worry if it just sits there in the phone. It's not stuck. As long as it unscrews and you can hear this popping noise. See that little pop? That pop means the screw is completely free, so you can just grab it and pull it out at that point. Now I'm doing my best not to touch the adhesive, so I don't want to get oil from my skin, I don't want to get muck on there. Because if I leave the adhesive intact enough, I won't have to bother putting new stuff on. So I should be able to remove this top piece, or this bottom piece, or this cover here. It turns out the top piece comes away first. I missed a screw here, so I undid that, and then I just got a fingernail under and lifted it up. And then you just peel gently on this piece of, well, this sticker, I guess, and put that out of the way. I'm actually going to ask my sister if she secretly broke this thing and had it repaired years ago. Because this adhesive is really sticky and nasty, and it doesn't usually get like that. Let's just put that out of the way. Some more screws at the bottom of the phone, and God, would you believe it, look, the charging assembly is one piece, so the motherboard of the phone is this ridiculously complex shape. Oh, I better unplug the battery as well. There we go, battery unplugged. Always fold the connector out of the way so it can't accidentally reconnect. But that means if a charging port on this phone breaks, you need an expert to fix it. Whereas, if the charging port was separate, someone with very little experience could remove the back cover in the same way that I did and replace the charging port. Now, it doesn't really matter when the phone's new because the charging port's going to last a few years, but it's hardly the point, is it? So I'm going to unplug the headphone jack. Yes, remember those? There's not much else to take out, to be honest. Very gentle on the headphone jack. I don't have a use for it, but at the same time, that doesn't mean I want to break it. I've unplugged the rear camera, and that just lifts out of the frame, so I'll put it in here. I took the SIM tray out off camera, you can see now it's empty, and I've just put that in a tub that's slightly off camera. And I should now just be able to lift the board and have it come out of the phone. Now I'm being incredibly gentle here, by the way. You'll get the people who just, especially the newbies who don't know what they're doing, they'll bend and they'll pull at the thing, and you want to cringe every time they do it. Oh, and I can see I've missed a display connector, so let me just get that now. Right, it tells you not to reuse the battery. Someone has sold me one of these batteries second hand, so I guess we're breaking Samsung's nonsense terms there. Right, gently, gently, wiggle, wiggle, and the board is free. So we'll put that down there. Off camera, I've removed the buzzer. I've removed the earpiece mic, and anything else that you can't see here has also been taken out. I'm just going to put this out of the way for a moment. And I'm going to open up the service pack. It's brilliant, isn't it? Service pack, like this is some sort of Samsung authorised product. Let's pour it out and see what we've got. That way, okay. Full screen hydrogel film. Oh good, I was worried about that. They've given me the power button and the volume button, and oh good, the useful Bixby button that everybody really benefited from. Right, screen connector. These things are fine. Oh, they've even given me new adhesive for that. That's very good. And look how chunky this housing is compared to the original one. You know, it's it's so much thicker. But I don't care. This was a really cheap part. I knew what I was buying when I bought it. We're just fixing the phone cheaply to get the data back. We're not actually. I mean, I might use it myself, but I wasn't ever intending on selling it. I'll reach into my pot of goodies. Let's grab the rumble motor out and let's install that. There we go. I'll just make sure to push it down. I'm not going to take the mic and crush it, but it does need to be firmly stuck into place. So that's all good. Let's do the top camera. Now obviously I want to try and not touch the lens and put fingerprints on it. And let's do the headphone jack last, so that can go out of the way. We'll do the microphone. Good. And you'll notice the piece of copper in here is much smaller. And I mean, it's basically just a piece of tape as opposed to this, which is actually a block of copper. Just going to make sure the power and the volume button ribbon cables are stuck down as they should be as well. So yeah, we're looking all right. Let's then do the camera. Awesome. Let's lower the board into place. No, I haven't cleaned the board. I'm going to clean the board off camera, and then we'll lower it into the phone. So just making sure we keep the screen connector out of the way, and making sure we keep this camera connector out of the way, because the last thing we want to do is bend them or put them under any strain or crush them. So it will take a minute to line up, but when it does, it'll all go straight into place. There we go. Right, so that is, when I push this down, all in place. I can now reinstall the SIM tray. Let's plug the screen in. Let's plug the headphone jack in. 45-degree angle, lower it down. I can't remember if there are any screws here or not, so I'm not going to put anything in for now. All we're going to do is just install the battery, and then that way we can test the phone. So, like I said, we'll plug the battery in, and then when it's plugged in, we'll then position it here. There we are. Right, now everyone's happy. So the battery should have a charge in it because it's a second-hand part. So the theory is the phone should just switch straight on. Flip her over, hold the button. I can't remember if the one on the right is the power button or this one here on the left. But, oh, no, there you go. Screen's working. And to be honest, it doesn't even look that bad. It's obviously no OLED. And it's going to be a much lower resolution than the original part was. But that's not the end of the world, really. I mean, especially given how cheap it was. Because this phone is still worth £100, but the genuine screen is worth 95, so it's just not worth putting a genuine screen on there. But if you put a cheap rubbish one on there, then, you know, you will still be able to use the thing. The only issue I can see is that we're not going to be able to fit a case, because this phone is so much bigger than the old one was. You know, without a case, we might be a bit stuck. Right, there we are. So that, I'm definitely going to blur that, because that's my sister and her son. But, yeah. That works. Enter pin. Your pin contains 4 digits. I don't know my sister's pin, so I'll have to turn it off and get in touch with her, but here we are. Enter pin, it says. So we'll hold the power button down, power off. Probably wants the pin to turn it off. Yeah, enter pin to turn off phone. Funny. Home stretch now. Let me just screw the headphone jack in. Right, that's the headphone jack installed, and then let's clip this piece of plastic over. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any screws. Because it looks like 2 should go here beside the charging port, but there weren't actually any installed, so I'm a bit curious now. I've just watched back the footage. Turns out there are indeed 2 screws that go here. Now I'm not going to tighten that one down all the way. I'm going to start it off. We'll tighten down its neighbour all the way, and then we'll come back and tighten that. This screen has a date code of 2511, by the way. I bought it in very early November. Could it be that it was literally built on the day it was sent out to me? Maybe. So that's tightened down. Gonna take the sticker residue off the top of this one and then tighten it down as well. Lovely. We'll clip this cover into place. Again, just checking to make sure there's not any missed screws. Oh, and we can see this corner's broken off actually. It's still stuck inside the phone on the other side. I'm just going to do without it though. It'll be okay. Oh no! I did one for the headphone jack and it turns out it isn't needed. Ugh, I'm going to have to remove this, remove that screw, and then put them back in. These screws are all done now, so I'm not going to make you watch me do the same thing again. I'm just going to put this cover on and screw it down. That is the final screw. Let me just fold this piece down. And this phone's looking pretty decent. Just before I put the back cover on, I'm going to switch it on one more time. Yep, phone still vibrates, phone still switches on. Let's flip it over. I'm going to put the back cover on and then we'll be away. Right, if you've ever watched Electronics Repair School, then you'll know that he has a habit of doing things the dodgy way. And unfortunately, I'm going to do the same thing with this phone. So, oh, that was only the screen protector, don't worry. But, right, there's plenty of room here. I'm going to open all of my clips, the maximum that they'll open. These clips are worth their weight in gold, by the way. It sort of costs £15 for 4 of them. But trust me, you'd be lost without them if you're a phone technician. What I'm going to do now is take some of this stuff, which is called B7000. It's a clear adhesive, it takes a few hours to set. I'm going to put it around the phone, stick the back cover on and clamp it shut. You'll notice we have the old adhesive on here still. It came off without any sort of real damage at all, so I'll get away with doing it like this. So I'm going to put plenty of glue on. The key is to be slow and patient. If you just grab this thing and wrench it and try and squeeze all the adhesive out at once, you're going to end up hurting your hands because it's coming through a tiny nozzle. And also you might accidentally put way too much on the phone, which would not be a good thing. If you were an authorised technician, by the way, you would have just an adhesive strip that's the same exact size and shape as these cutouts, and you would just stick it on the back, and that's pretty much all you would have to do. I'm obviously not a Samsung authorised technician, and if I was, I wouldn't waste one of those strips on a worthless old phone like this. Anyway though, that's the adhesive put on. I'm just going to stick the back cover on now. As predicted, quite a bit of glue is squeezing out. I'm actually surprised this frame even fits to the back cover, to be honest. So let's just wipe away the excess, and then I'm going to put these clips on. If you do a lot of devices, by the way, then a tube of B7000 will go a really long way. A tube like this costs you about £10, but I've had this for years. You may instead want to buy T7000 though, because that's black and this stuff is clear. So you got to think a lot of phones have got a black rear cover. I did the bezel on a Kindle recently. It was my own device actually, and you can still see bits of adhesive that have come through and whatnot, and if it was black it'd be a lot harder to see. So the key is not to crank these things into oblivion, just to crank them down until they're just a bit more than snug. Now I know that's kind of an arbitrary statement. Oh, a bit more than snug, what does that really mean? But if you have the phone in your hands, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. A bit like when they say finger tight when you're installing a screw. Right, there we go. And if you do it too tight, you'll crack the back cover. Ask me how I know. Alright then everybody, you can see I've jumped ahead a bit here. I've removed the clamps that were holding the back cover on. It's now glued down, it looks good. I mean, it could be improved on ever so slightly, but remember, this is a phone that I'm using on my own. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, and it's pretty good anyway. The important thing is we managed to get the data off of the phone, and so the only picture that's on it now is this one, which I took earlier. I did try and install that screen protector that was included, but I didn't have any luck because it's made of plastic. The camera hole was in the right place, but the protector was a tiny bit too big for the phone, so that unless I fixed it using lasers and machinery, it wasn't going to fit in place on the phone properly. So in the end I just chose not to bother. I've gone into the settings and made some quality of life changes. So I've gone to display and I've told it to time out after 5 minutes. I've put the phone into dark mode. I've set the resolution to the middle mode because I don't think it supports this fancy version all the way at the end. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We've managed to get the data recovered from the phone. My sister's happy. I've got a phone that's usable. It's not even cost me £30. And I might actually just start using it as my daily driver and sell my S23. Because I don't need a fancy phone. The camera on this one is absolutely fine, and it might mean I use it a little bit less, and that's never a bad thing either. There we are then, that's all I've got time for today I'm afraid, but I'd just like to say I'm really happy with this phone. It's turned out great. It's not even cost me £30 for a screen and a battery, but because I put a battery in there that's pretty much brand new, at least in terms of, you know, its remaining capacity, I've got, this phone will have a good 5 or 6 hours of battery life, which is plenty for me, you know, it'll last through the whole day and then some. The camera's still perfectly fine, it's got plenty of storage and plenty of RAM. Not that I use them anymore, but it even has a headphone jack. You remember those things? My only disappointment is that I can't unlock the bootloader, and the reason why I'm disappointed about that is that I did a project with a Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini where we unlocked the bootloader, wiped the phone, and then I upgraded it to Android 11. So it went all the way from Android 4 to Android 11. Alright, that's 7 Android versions. We updated a 9-year-old phone here on the channel, and I still use it as a gym phone a couple times a week. It's serving me perfectly fine. That's the reason why I want to unlock this thing, because Samsung's Android version is a bit bloated. That's out of the scope of this video, but if you would like to see the process, it's only about a 10-minute video anyway, then I'll put a link in the description for you. If you found this thing useful, feel free to leave me a like, that would help greatly. Means these videos are going to get more reach, we can spread the repair message further and impact more people. That'd be really nice. I think I'm going to be getting a junk old air fryer in to fix. I've got some microwave, 50-50 on whether that actually becomes a video or not. I've got a really cool machine here. This is pretty much a PlayStation 5 on this card, and I'm looking forward to doing some modding work with this, although given how busy I am in the real world, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 months before that thing materialises. But the point is, I've got a lot of cool stuff in the works, and if you want to see where the channel ends up going, the best way to do that is to hit the subscribe button. You can always change your mind, it's completely free, and that's, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got for you. So until the next time, I'll see you later, take care for now, and goodbye.